Hey, it's Evie, welcome to my channel. Today's video is about how you can make this stuff work for you way easier without so much pressure on you for every part of your life to be about the law of attraction or to be about creating your own reality. So every time you decide you want something, you then start thinking you have to try and manifest it, but you're not just living your life that way. How do you get over that? And creating your own reality is just a part of it. It's just something that happens for you naturally because you're through all of that, attachment stuff. Like, you have to make it work. I have to visualize. I have to say affirmations in order to bring this thing into my life. When really, if you just lived your life knowing that these things happened, then you would manifest those things without trying to manifest those things. And that is the point that I would love to get you to, because that is the point that I am at now, and this is how I do it, and this is how it's worked for me. And I've been doing this for about 3 years, I think, so hopefully it will work for you too. It will sound counterintuitive and you'll think, well, that doesn't make any sense, because the law of attraction, law of creation, quantum physics is a thing. It's a law. It's like gravity. It works every single time. So why would you say what you're going to say? But I'll explain to you why I'm saying that, and hopefully you can get on board with this. You may not. You may think, what a load of nonsense. But if you can, then it's brilliant. If you can just be open-minded to it, then it's a really great way of thinking. Now, so the first year, the first 6 months were kind of tough and frustrating and annoying, and I felt like giving up. The second 6 months, I was getting used to what worked and what didn't work. After that, I just decided that I could see that there was pressure on me to manifest things, to manifest my life, to do it all with magic. And I thought, how can I get over that? Because I know that I'm attached to making it work with the law of attraction, which I don't really refer to it as anymore. Now, I just think it's quantum physics. It's the way it is. It's the way everything works. So now I say, there is a 95% chance that this will happen every single time I say this, and I've been saying this for 3 years, and every single time it's happened. Now, that sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Because like I said, this is a law. It works 100% of the time. But if you tell yourself, so if you don't want to say the 95, I call it the 95% chance rule, but if you don't want to do that, you can say there's a strong probability that this will happen, a really strong possibility. If I was betting on a horse, I'd bet on this one. You can do it that way. But you give yourself that 5%, I feel, was like a leeway thing. It was like, okay, I don't really get this stuff, so I don't know what's going on here and I can't fully explain it. So if I say that there's a 95% chance, then I'm kind of taking that little bit of a pressure away from myself of having to make this work. I don't know if that will make sense to you, but it made complete sense to me. I could feel right away that was going to work for me, and I'm hoping that will work for you. So like I said, don't have to say 95% chance, but the key is with this, all of this, is to just live your life and not keep trying to manifest things. So you get to a point, a feeling inside of you that you know that this stuff is happening. But don't get hung up on trying to make single things happen. Know what you want, know that this stuff works, and just let it happen. And I know that's really difficult when it comes to a specific person. If you're wanting a specific person in your life, I find it easy now if somebody's in my life, that's amazing. And if they leave my life and it's not really through my own choice, then I just accept it now. And I think they've gone for a reason. And it might be that they come back at a later date and things do work out. Or it might be that I don't see them again, and that's that. And every time that has happened, people have left my life. I had a very close friendship, and about, I guess I was about 40 at the time, so it was about 8 years ago, and it was really upsetting at the time, and it was a string of things that happened leading up to it, probably all created by me. Well, they were all created by me, not intentionally, but they were. And the friendship ended, and I was absolutely, gutted about the whole thing, because our kids were friends and all of that, and it was horrible. But I accepted it, and I thought maybe it's just time for this. And this is before I was into this, and I thought maybe it's run its course, and this is just what's going to happen. And, a year down the line, I look back and I think, yeah, I think that had just run its course, that whole friendship thing. It was a shame for the kids, but I think it had. And I don't think either of us had done anything wrong at all. We just had kind of grown apart, I suppose. And because we've been friends since we were 11, we probably felt like we wanted to cling on to that friendship. And so we clung on for a long time when maybe it had run its course. And I look back now and I really feel strongly that was the case. So that's how I can let things go and let people go. I get that's really difficult when it's your ex and you really want them back, but that is one way of looking at it. But if you look at that specifically with an ex, particularly with your ex, there's a really strong chance that I'm going to get them back into my life or into my life and it's going to be amazing. There's a really strong chance of that. And then do what you need to do to manifest that, and then let it go to, I've done all that I can do now. There's a really strong chance that this will happen. But if it doesn't, if the 5% kicks in and it doesn't happen, it's because it's not meant to happen. It's because somebody else is on their way to you, somebody even more suited to you. And, you know, because when I look at that friendship now, I now have, and I had these other two friends at the time, but now we are all really, really close, the three of us. And I was saying to my mum the other day, I can't imagine how that would ever end, that we wouldn't be close. And then I said, but if it does, for any reason, then I will just accept that that's the time for it. You know, that it will be time if that happens. And I know that I could accept that now because I do practice radical acceptance. But that 5% chance just gives your soul that leeway. You kind of accept it more. You accept the law of attraction and manifesting and that more, knowing that, I can't say knowing that there's a 5% chance it won't happen, because there is 100% chance that it will happen if you're in the right place, but you may not be in the right place. And if you're not in the right place and you fall into that 5%, then you're not right for it at the moment. It's not right for you at the moment. The universe isn't holding it back from you. God is not holding it back from you. Nothing is holding it back from you apart from you. So that 5% chance of it not happening is because there's something within you that isn't allowing it to happen, but that's okay. If you can look at it like that, that's okay, because if I fall into that category, if I do fall into that tiny chance that it might not happen, then it isn't right for me. And when I look back on it, I will realise that it wasn't right for me. I just couldn't accept it because I got hooked on this, but I can manifest it. We can manifest anything we want, and I should be able to have anything I want because this stuff is magic and it works for other people. So we get hung up on that and we just stop living our lives. That did happen for about 6 months, I guess. I did get obsessed about manifesting things, but after that I thought, oh no, this is not, I can't live like this. I just want to see if I can make magic work. When I started imagining it as just being magic, because it is really, because we can't explain it. So magic is anything that you can't really explain, isn't to me. And once I started doing that, it became a whole lot easier, because I would think like, you know, I would give myself that little break with the 5%. So I think if it doesn't happen, there's only a small chance that it won't happen, and if it doesn't, then it's not right. And I always look back to that friendship thing, and I'm reminded of how, you know, I am now. You know, you learn stuff, don't you? I learned things from that friendship ending, and I learned things that I've carried forward to this friendship I have now, which I did have before, but it's much stronger now. And, you know, we talk about things. We had this discussion where we decided that we would talk about things. If one of us was upset about something, we would talk about it and we would sort it out, and we've done that. And we barely have any we don't really have a cross word, and we know each other's personalities really well. And if any one of us has any issue with something the other one says, then mostly I'd probably just let it go. I probably wouldn't have an issue. But the other two are a bit more, they might have an issue with what each other says. But we get it out in the open, it's sorted, and it's just great. It's a great friendship. So I learnt from the previous friendship where perhaps we didn't do that, when there were some issues that we just didn't talk about. And so we do that, so if you can look at it like that, which I know is difficult, but you want to live your life, don't you? You don't want to get hung up on the law of attraction as being this thing, and you can't make things, you know, you can only make things happen. Things will only happen if you put in all of this effort with all of these law of attraction techniques. That's how things will happen, but that's how things don't happen, and that's how you end up not getting what you want. For me, is thinking of this as magic and not trying to explain it. Back in the day when I first started, of course I tried to explain it, because that's what we do, isn't it? As human beings, we want everything explained. But when I stopped doing that, and I thought, I can't explain it, and I can't explain how some things take a week, some things take 2 months. I can't explain that, and those things that have taken 2 months aren't really that big a deal. When you want something on point and it's just a little thing, and maybe you, for instance, I was supposed to have a Skype call with a girl that I'm collaborating with on a fiction project, and that was supposed to be yesterday, and it was a really beautiful day. And in the morning I thought, oh, I could do without it today, and I'm sure she could as well, because it was so beautiful, and I just wanted to make the most of the day, and I knew we only had 2 days like this. And in the afternoon I thought, oh, you know, I'd love to not do this today and to do it next week when I'm back to working week. But I just accepted that I wasn't going to let her down, because that wasn't fair, and I just forgot about it, and came in here half an hour before the Skype call because I had to make some notes and stuff. And then I had an email from her saying, it's such an amazing day, would you mind if we made this next week? And that was amazing. And I thought, oh yeah, synchronicity, brilliant, yeah, fantastic. So it worked out just like that. You know, that's what I wanted, that's what happened, because there was no pressure. I'd accepted that we'd arranged that, and I didn't want to let her down, and she wasn't letting me down. She was saying, you know, we could still do it today if that's what you want. So there was no, you know, simple as that. I can tell you lots. I'm going to give you a few examples like this. So I was having lunch with a friend a little while ago, and it was my turn to pay, and my debit card had taken such a hammering. I bought so much stuff that week, I just was on a splurge. And when I got my card out to pay, I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't put it on this card. And I had that feeling like, oh, you know, it's too much. I've spent too much. And then I handed the card over and it didn't go through. But I knew that there was money in there. And I just thought, oh, she's still sorry, it's been declined. So I just gave her another card and that was fine. But I knew that card was all right. And I used it again about half an hour later because I knew it was fine, and I knew why it hadn't worked, because I'd had that feeling. And so that was instant. And everything like that, you know, when you say, I think I'm going to call my mum, and then she calls me, all of that stuff is instant. So why is that instant? And then other stuff is not. And I don't mean with attachment, because obviously we know why it's not instant when we have attachment. I mean when we don't have attachment to something, why is that not instant? Now, see, that's the question I used to ask. I don't ask that anymore because I don't get it. I think, what the hell? How can that be like that? I know it's just a little thing. You know, I can't explain that. And you know, I'm going to do another video soon about some crazy things that have happened with this stuff, ludicrous, mental, magic things. And when they happened, I thought, this stuff is absolutely crazy. I can't explain it, and I'm not going to try, so I don't. And that's what I suggest that you don't do. So, you know, even you don't have to think of this as a law of attraction, reality creation, anything. You could just call it magic, or you can just call it the way that life works. You don't have to stick a label on these things. We do, because we just do, don't we? And then it becomes like a cult thing. So my best advice to you is try to live your life and not live it around this. So just live it and try and get to a place in your heart where you know that this stuff is going on, you know magic is happening, you can't explain it, and you've got great odds if you put something into place. If you decide you want something, just do it as a matter of practice. You decide, oh, I want that job. Imagine yourself doing that job, really, really feel it, really get with that. I think that would be amazing. Wouldn't it be amazing if that happened? And then think, oh, I've got a really great chance of that happening now. That's amazing. Do it like that. And do that every single time, but don't get hung up on all of the different techniques. I wouldn't even bother with a lot of the different techniques, because that's what gets you hung up. And that's why I don't do many technique videos, because I know that you can get hung up on those, and it's not the techniques that make things happen, it's your feelings and your thoughts and your detachment and all of that. It's not techniques. Techniques are just a fun way of bringing things to you if you're not attached. They really are, they can be, they're amazing. But if you're attached, then a technique is just another stumbling block. It really is. So if you're attached to anything, don't try any techniques to get it, believe me, because you won't get it. The best way you get it is by finding your way of release. And I find that the 95% rule is a huge release to me, because I always think, oh, this might not happen. I might fall into the 5%, but I don't give that much thought. But I know that, you know, that it gives me that. If it doesn't, it's because it's not meant to. It's because just around the corner, the right thing is coming to me, a better thing, and it always has. It has in the last 3 years since I start making things really happen. I suppose it's been 2.5 years since things have started tumbling and just getting better and better and better, because I just have that little bit of leeway with the, you know, it's a mighty fine chance that this is going to happen. Good odds for me. I'm betting on this horse, betting on this race. But if it doesn't, it's because it's, you know, there's just something else, and it's going to be even more amazing. And it really helps you with release, I have found, and I just hope it helps you. This might be really not appeal to some of you, but if it appeals to some of you and you get on board with it, then great. Just to let you know, my members area is now live. It went live last Monday, and we've had a few sign-ups already, which is great. And please, if you've signed up and you've selected Ask Evie and you've asked me something, tried to make contact and I haven't got back to you, please could you let me know via the email address on that form, because you know, there may be teething problems, and you know, maybe you guys are just getting along with it, and that's brilliant. But you know, I just need to know if there's an issue, and there may well be, but I will get it sorted if there is. Please don't worry about that. We'll be sorted. And thanks so much to all of you guys that have joined. And if you haven't, then go along to the coaching page and just watch my instructional video there and see what you think. And it might be for you, it might not. But that's what I'm doing at the moment. And I am working with somebody at the moment. And that's my last one-to-one full-on coaching for a while, whilst I get this fiction project underway and get to a point where I feel that I can take a couple more clients at a time. But at the moment I'm doing it this way, but they're still backed up with one-to-one support. So my latest book, Get Back With Your Ex, is out now, and yeah, thanks for watching.